Alright, question one. Compare the distributions of the concentration of aldrin among the three rivers. So, okay, to start off with the shape, they all seem to be more or less the same. There's nothing really that different about them. The spread is approximately normal. As you can see, which leaves me in the second one. There's no outliers, so they all seem to, they all have no outliers. So they're all relatively about the same. For the third one, center, the median of all these are relatively close for how wide the ranges are, which is kind of surprising. They're all within one of each other, which I thought was interesting, as far as I can tell. Uh, yeah, so they're all surprisingly close for how big the ranges are. And then it gets to S, which is the shape. When the shape of this makes it most visible on how much we can compare the two. So X's IQR is crazy large compared to the other ones. It almost looks like X's IQR is larger than Y and Z's put together. Y is the second largest IQR, and Z is the third largest. The range of X is around 5, while the range of Z is around 2, which is kind of crazy, as far as you can estimate using the graph. So what I concluded from this is Z, the results were a lot more contained, and there wasn't as many that went over 5. They all seem to be around the same. Y was a bit more spread out, but they still seem pretty even. And X looks like it has lots of outliers. It looks like the median was about the same of Y and Z, but then the so-called outliers, they're not technically outliers, but the ones that are farther out seem to be much more in X, or more prominent. For B, it says construct a stem plot of river X, and I went on to do that over here. These are the ones, these are the tenths, as you can see. Just a good look at the shape. And then for C, it says describe a characteristic of the distribution of the aldrin's concentrations in river X that can be seen in the stem plot but cannot be seen in the box plot. So, okay, a few things I found interesting about the stem plot were that, for one, the density of 5 and 6 or 4 and 5 are a lot larger than it looks like on the graph, as you can see right there. It makes it seem like 4 and 5 is just a smaller part, while 5 and 6 is a lot larger. Clearly not. You think a lot of it's actually in the 3 section, but it's not. The other thing I noticed is it doesn't exactly give like the shape originally predicted. It kind of gives it almost like a U shape instead of approximately normal, which I found interesting. Another thing is 3/5 of the numbers are below the mean. So 12 of the about 12 of the numbers are below the mean, which is kind of weird. Like, so like the average of all these, half the average is in the 7 and 8s. Otherwise, a lot of the sections are not filled, which was not clearly represented. I thought, just from looking at the graph, that the 7 and 8s might have a lot more, but they only have a few compared to some of the other ones. And 3 does not have as many prominently shown as many of the other ones do. So, yeah, the stem plot gives it a whole new look that you can't exactly see from just the box plot.